Welcome to the Tattness podcast. Once again, I am Tattness, and Blue will probably be in on the next show just to check in on things and see how everything's going. And I'm pretty happy to report that my level of technology knowledge, man, it would be a fair assessment to say was bordering on Mennonite territory. But since doing this show, I've learned a metric pant load, dude. Like, you don't even know so much has gone into this show since I started doing it more hands-on by myself. I've learned so much, but don't you worry, you're pretty little heads, man. I didn't go and get too smart on you. You can still smell the faint scent of fresh window on my breath. So, it's okay, have no fear. My lack of helmet is strictly due to my rebellious nature, I assure you. But my rapport with technology has definitely improved. I went from hating dealing with technology's convoluted yet effective fuckery and shenanigans, man. In a way you can safely compare to Meatloaf snapping on Gary Busey in a fit of irrational rage on Celebrity Apprentice, to now being more relaxed with the whole thing. I mean, don't get me wrong, Xbox One still makes me want to take a bath with my toaster, but aside from that, that's infuriating. That's another story entirely. I hate that fucking system so much. But I'm much more relaxed with the whole thing now. You know, and don't get me wrong, man. Technology and I aren't suddenly BFFs or anything like that, okay? Like, we're not gonna start sending each other Christmas cards. But we're civil, like two divorced parents trying to make it work for the sake of our anxiety-ridden children, you know what I mean? I assure you, though, my newfound love for technology is strictly platonic. And I feel like I have to make that clear, because I recently found out there are people in this world walking amongst us with a mental disorder called mechanophilia, of all fucking things, which means they're sexually attracted to appliances. So, you know what that fucking means, right? I mean, that as we speak, as I'm talking to you right now, as you listen to this, somewhere in this world, there is some motherfucker out there who is, like, currently balls deep in a fucking waffle iron and having a great fucking time, too, you know what I mean? It's fucked up. Like, why? So I thought, well, fuck it. We have to cater to everybody, right? So what if there were some novels for people like that? What about fucking graphic novels? Like, you know, Appliance Erotica. So, we got one for you, man. And for those people that are into that kind of weird shit, hey, who am I to judge? You know what I'm saying? So here we go. How about this one? A lonely Maytag repairman's sexual tryst with a sleek yet curvy waffle iron. He quivers with anticipation as he glares lustfully at its beckoning Teflon non-stick coating.
Hey, sugar bear.
He knows with utmost certainty it's just a matter of time before he puts a ladle's worth of batter of his own in that sultry appliance.
Shazam!
In some pervert's new graphic novel, 50 Shades of Griddle. And if you dig that, then you may also enjoy Curling Iron Man, a robust young lady's torrid love affair with a curling iron who leaves her with third-degree burns as she discovers she's not the only one turned on. I'm left with so many questions, dude, about this. Like, how do you decide, in this case, what kind of appliances are for you? Like, I guess if you like it, if you're the type that you like it rough and fast and hard, then you go for like a cake mixer. But if you like that slow and sensual shit, then you go for a crock pot or some shit, right? Now let's go to a segment I like to call Fucked Up News.
Stop the presses!
What in the baked fuck is going on in the UK? You guys, honestly, fucking tell me what is going on over there. A dude apparently wants to sue a grocery store after he ends up in the hospital with severe burns on his pecker.
Ouch!
From fucking a fucking frozen lasagna after he's cooked it for 10 minutes in the microwave.
There's something you don't see every day.
And his complaint, I shit you not, is that 2 employees saw him buy this fucking thing and not one said, hey man, don't fuck that thing once you get it out of the oven or the microwave. And then the cashier helped him buy it by cashing him out and did not warn him not to fuck a hot lasagna.
Oh.
So, you guys fucking tell me right now, okay? How fucking many people need somebody to tell them not to be sticking their fucking spam javelin in a hot lasagna? Honestly. Like, really? If you fucking need to be told that you're probably gonna get severe blistering on your fucking yogurt slinger, then maybe you shouldn't be around hot food. If, instead of eating it, you want to fucking stick your vagina miner in it.
What's the matter with you?
You're probably going to have a bad time, and you should probably not be permitted to use ovens or fucking microwaves unattended. So in case it doesn't go without saying, y'all fucking just keep your womb broom at tonight's dinner, okay? Can we please just do that?
Button it up.
Florida man, there's a shock, sets apartment complex on fire after manager told him to stop masturbating in front of windows.
Yeah.
Come on, man. If you're gonna fucking beat it like it owes you child support, don't do it in front of fucking windows or your front door. And damn sure don't burn the fucking place down just because somebody told you to knock that shit off.
You're fired!
I gotta tell you, I think all these Florida men dudes that are like always in the headlines for really weird shit need to just assemble like a fucking trailer park Voltron and just commit one really big fucked up act, you know what I mean? And get the final headline and just the be all end all of fucked up headlines, you know what I'm saying? Once again, Florida man tattoos Black Widow spider on his face to combat arachnophobia.
Super genius!
What in the fucking hillbilly self-help is going on here? I feel like there's some kind of fucking logic behind this. I'm just not sure what. But that dude in the UK, he's got some fucking stiff competition with you Florida motherfuckers, let me tell you. Maybe 50 Shades of Griddle was actually based on a true story, and I just fucked up the back history of it all, because here we have Florida man pokes girlfriend in the eye after she served him waffles instead of pancakes.
Oh, wise guy, eh?
What the fuck? Seriously. No, you know what? That's the kind of motherfucker I want to see behind the grill when I walk into a Denny's, because that motherfucker is passionate about breakfast, you know what I'm saying? And now on to sports news. Now this is not new news, but it damn sure never gets old. An MMA fighter who shall remain nameless here because you could find him on YouTube if you really want to, but I'm not going to take away that last shred of dignity he's got. This poor bastard gets taken down to the ground, and while he's getting punched, he straight up shits his pants.
Uh-oh!
And, of course, the ref sees this, and he stops the fight. And when Buddy stands up, he's just leaving puddles of ass pudding all over the octagon floor.
You can smell it!
It's so gnarly. I can honestly say I've never in my career hit somebody so hard that it caused anal leakage, but I sure look forward to the day that I do. And if I do, you best believe that that is going to become like my finishing punch. I'm going to call it like Montezuma's Revenge or Chris Brown. Or maybe even call it UPS, because these hands are going to show you what Brown can do for you.
Ew!
I guess the moral of this story really is that in MMA, inevitably, every once in a while, there's going to be puddles of anal grease left on the octagon floor. It's just part of the business. Shit happens figuratively and literally. So, you know, you're going to catch that once in a while on YouTube, but for fuck's sakes, man, why does the cameraman have to zoom in on this dude's fucking mud monkeys that he's dropping and just focusing on it and getting every detail he can like it's fucking HD? I don't understand why. I think we all understood what was happening. We didn't need to see the fucking close-up. It was just so fucked up, man. I just don't know why he fucking felt the need to zoom in on the little mud midgets that this guy's dropping. And, you know, it was just fucking nasty, bro. So that'll conclude the segment of the show that I call Mixed Martial Sharts. I gotta tell you guys, man, with my career, whether it be MMA or even doing this show or doing my clothing line or writing books or any of that shit, man, you guys make it so much fun. I really enjoy what I'm doing, you know, I really enjoy everything I do. But, you know, let me tell you what's not fun. Being lied to, being deceived, Nobody likes that, man. And I'm almost ashamed to tell you guys that today I was deceived pretty terribly. I was the victim of something that was pretty harsh, and I figured I'll kind of share that with you guys. And, you know, I'm still trying to recover from it because it was devastating. But today, you guys, I was, in fact, rickrolled. That's right, I fucking clicked this link that somebody told me was, hey, here's the Skeletor voice actor in full character cussing up a fucking storm. Why would I not click on that? And what do I get? I get a fucking Rick Astley video playing. And I was just, that cut deep, man. That fucking deceit cut deep. That stung big time. And I have not been the same since. Rick Astley's voice is, in fact, the sound of betrayal.
Liar, liar, pants on fire.
So now that I've told you about how Rick Astley was basically the fucking tool of my betrayal, let's take a break for a minute and talk about the Tattness podcast channel on YouTube. If you haven't already, go and check that out, subscribe, and be sure to keep checking it out because in the near future there's going to be exclusive content that's going to be uploaded to the YouTube channel, which helps us keep doing this for free. So check that out. Check out the Facebook page if you haven't already. Like that and share it with your friends, man. And it just keeps us going. And in case you've forgotten, this October and maybe even sooner, we haven't decided just yet, depending on the demand for it. But in the near future, coming at the latest October 1st, probably end up September, maybe even in the middle of September, who knows yet, we haven't decided, but it's going to be Halloween theme shows all the time. It's going to be horror movie related, paranormal stories and things of that nature that you guys could send in if you want at the podcast email at tattnesspodcast@gmail.com, and some of my own experiences and things that I can't explain, any stories that come in from the listeners. And we might even talk about horror-based video games and anything horror, basically. Anything paranormal, supernatural, horror-related. And there's going to be some special guests. So don't miss that at all because that's like the best time of year, man. Now, I got an email from the Tattness podcast email from a fan of the show, which is really cool, that asked if I could give a shout-out. So I'll just go ahead and read this now as they requested. Hello, Tattness. First, I just wanted to say I'm a huge fan of everything you do. I love MMA, and I bought your book a few years back, and I still laugh when I read it. I own at least 7 Tattness Co. shirts, and you probably don't remember me, but you tattooed me back in 2012 in Niagara Falls. Unfortunately, I don't have any of your art on my walls, but I would love to get some. Anyway, enough ass-kissing. I just wanted to congratulate you on the new show, and will be looking forward to listening to it on my way to work. Stacy. Hold on now. Whoa, hold up. Let's back this up a little bit. First of all, I will tell you when I've had enough ass-kissing. You just go right ahead. If you want to tell Tattness what he's a global icon, national treasure, you just go right ahead. Don't let me stop you. I'm just fucking with you, Stacy. I really appreciate that, actually. Thank you so much. Unfortunately, you know, my time in Niagara Falls, there was a lot going on, and that was a long time ago, so no, I don't really recall. Sorry. Nothing personal. Thanks for all the support, though, and all the clothing that you've bought and buying the book and everything else. That's super cool, man. I'm really glad you enjoyed it, and it was a lot of fun to write. It was just, you know, just one of those things, taking the piss, having a blast, and trying my hand at something new. So thanks so much for the support, and email me back. Let me know what design or what it was I tattooed on you, man, and I might remember some of that. And, you know, I could probably see if we can't send you some of that art, too, that you want so bad, for all your support. Thanks a lot, man. That's super cool. I want you guys to know that I totally appreciate all the support that you guys have been giving the show and just your viewership and listenership, and I love it. And I just want you to know I appreciate it so much, and I would never ask for donations to the show in any way. So if any podcast site is doing that, just ignore it. It's not needed. But what I will say is that there is one place that I would like to promote, and that's a charity called the Drake Radin Foundation, which is, maybe you guys, a lot of you guys may not be familiar with this or may not know this yet. Some of you do know that last November, my 2-year-old son, Madden, had passed away from a condition that he was born with called NKH, which currently has no cure, and it is terminal, so babies typically pass away from this very early in life. And the Drake Radin Foundation is a charity that is organized, and it is government registered, and they are basically constantly accepting donations to put towards finding a cure for research, anyway, for NKH. Currently, the money is going towards treatments for these children, and hopefully a cure in the near future it will be found, I hope. So if you guys ever want to donate to that, I would definitely encourage that, but don't ever, feel like if a site is asking for donations on behalf of this show, just ignore it. It's not, I would much rather you guys just subscribe to my YouTube channel. Don't worry about, I know some sites tend to do that. They do ask for, or allow donations. I don't want that. It seems like every podcast is talking about this, so I don't really want to get too into it, but what do you guys think about the new Joker movie coming out? I think it looks decent, to be honest with you, but I also feel like it's going to get some mixed reactions. I think a lot of people are going to go into it expecting it to be some kind of a Batman movie, and it's not, so I think they're going to probably shit on it a little bit if anything goes the way, previous history has with certain things like that. It just doesn't strike me as like a comic book movie per se, and I think people are probably expecting it to be, and I'm curious to see it personally. I think it looks really interesting, and just the way it's done, I think it's kind of its own thing, so I'm really curious to see it. And then you got the new It movie. So the way I see it now is like it's really a bad fucking time for anybody who has a clown phobia. You know what I mean?
Hey!
It's just not cool because people that don't like clowns are kind of getting bombarded with them these days, and it's kind of fucking crazy. There's a couple of movies in 2020 I'm really looking forward to because of nostalgia purposes. Ghostbusters 3 is coming out, which is going to be super cool. And I don't know if you guys heard this or not, but they're actually re-releasing the first Ghostbusters movie into the theaters again. But this time, they're actually putting in parts that were cut out of the original cut that they didn't end up using. So now you get a little bonus stuff, which is pretty cool. And, 3 is going to be really good, I'm sure. And, another movie that I'm really looking forward to just because of nostalgia purposes. And now, don't email me with this shit about fucking how bad it sucks or whatever, because, it's not gonna fucking... they know damn well it's not intended to fucking win an Oscar, but fucking Bill and Ted 2 is coming out, and I'm pretty fucking jazzed about that. And I don't care, man, if it's fucking a total clusterfuck train wreck. I'm just curious to see it, and that's all I care. I'm not expecting a masterpiece. I'm not fucking expecting, any kind of Academy Award winning fucking flick. So I think it'll be cool, man. I just want to see this shit because it's been a long ass time, and I think it'll be cool for the most part. So I really look forward to some of those, and from what I hear, anyway, that there's, Halloween's coming out again in 2020. They're doing part 2 to the last one that was recently done, which is super cool. I loved it personally. I thought it was very well done because, it was well written, and the fact that John Carpenter was back involved in it. And I hear that it's actually slated for the one coming out in 2020, and then a third one, which will be the final one. So then they're not doing it anymore. So I think they just want to close it out and put it to rest. And, hopefully there will be no more really shitty, like there was part 4 and on. that were just awful for the most part, but still, I love the character so much that I'll watch it anyway. I don't give a shit. I mean, the first one and the second one were obviously the greatest, but, I really love the new one that came out. And I look forward to part 2 of that and part 3 of that. And, I like the Rob Zombie ones too. If I view it as a standalone and its own thing, absolutely. So I know we talked about that on the first show, and I surprisingly didn't get any hate mail about that, but I know a lot of people really did not like the fucking remakes. But like I said, man, if you go into it as a standalone and you just watch them as they are and don't compare them to the originals, then they're actually pretty cool. And then the new one actually felt a lot like the original, so I loved it, and I thought it was very well done. I loved all the little details in it, and it just had so much effort put into it that you could tell that the people that wrote it were really into it and actually cared, and it wasn't just about making a buck off of something that was once successful. And they wanted to revive it. They were honestly fans of the movie, and they wanted to revive it because they did not like what happened once part 2 was done and over with. It just kind of went to shit, you know what I mean? They just got more gradually off base with the story and just started to get really weird and out there, and I didn't care for that. But again, I love Halloween movies so much that I watch them any fucking way. It's just, I didn't like all that really bizarre shit that they started to go down a different story path completely that had nothing to do. There's just a lot of inconsistencies. And, you could argue Nightmare on Elm Street had a lot of inconsistencies as well, and that's true. That's a fair point. But, I just fucking hope that they don't butcher any further fucking horror movies that we love so much. And apparently Robert Englund wants to play Freddy one more time, but at the same time, he also wants Kevin Bacon, of all people, to take over the Freddy character. And I don't know what you guys think about that, but I'm intrigued. I'm curious. I think that's high praise from the guy that, fucking basically made that character what it is. So I think he has a lot of belief in him. I think he's capable of playing him, but I also feel bad for him because I feel like he's going to take a lot of shit, man, because he's going to be constantly compared to Robert Englund, and I don't think that's fair. I think Robert's trying to pass the torch, and I know fucking you'll never replace Robert Englund, man. There will never be a better fucking Freddy Krueger, but at the same time, he can't do this shit forever. So, if you still want to see the character, then fucking somebody's going to have to take that place, and it better to be someone that he handpicked rather than just anybody that they picked for the sake of making a buck, right? So we'll see how that goes. I don't know how that's going to play out. I hope that in one way or another that we get a fucking new Nightmare on Elm Street movie very soon, because that would be fucking sweet. I was supposed to go see a movie a couple weeks ago, but I fucking went to a place for dinner first. And it was just such a shit fucking experience that I already was feeling kind of shitty. And it was just a shit experience to the point where it just took me out of that mood. And I was like, I don't even fucking want to go see a movie now. I'm not one to complain, man, but this was fucking awful. And it takes a lot for me to say that. Because even, most places, when they're not great, they're still alright. But I went to this place, and my Irish listeners will appreciate this. I went to a place that called themselves an Irish pub, and it was fucking, the first thing on the menu that I see is nachos. And their special for the day was fucking lasagna. And I'm like, what the fuck is Irish about any of that, right? So that should have been my first indicator that this was going to be a bad time. And so I was like, fuck it, I'm going to get something that's actually Irish because, you're in an Irish, or allegedly Irish pub. So I ordered the bangers and mash. Big fucking mistake. I ended up getting it at my table, and the potatoes were barely fucking warm, and the sausages were meh. They were probably the best part of the whole fucking thing. And they asked me if I wanted, now get this, fried onions with it, or fucking sauerkraut. What the fuck does sauerkraut have to do with Irish fucking bangers and mash, first of all? So I said, I can't stand that shit, so I want fucking, obviously, the onions, right? So I get my plate, and sure as shit, what do I have? Fucking sauerkraut, man. And I was like, ugh, you know? And there was no fucking gravy on this shit whatsoever, neither. They brought me 2 fucking of those little plastic packets that you peel the foil top off of this congealed piss-looking garbage that they called fucking honey mustard. And I was like, what the fuck am I going to do with that? So the whole fucking meal was just terrible. And I barely finished it, and I hate wasting food, but I just could not get through it. And the waitress comes, and she takes, let me just say, shout out to all the servers out there. You are not paid enough to take anybody's bullshit. And that's why I never complain, man. It's not your fault. She was an absolute sweetheart. It was not her fault. And so she comes up to my table. She takes my plate, fucking goes back with it. And when she comes back, she's like, hey, you know, I noticed that, you know, they gave you the sauerkraut and not the onions that you ordered. You should have told me. I would have fixed it. And I'm like, man, sweetie, it's not your fault. You know what I mean? It's all good. It's not that big a deal. It's, you know, you didn't make this shit. You know what I mean? And trust me, those onions were not going to save this fucking meal. And, you know, it's just, I would say it was a fucking dumpster fire, but if it was, then it would at least be fucking hot. And there's just nothing authentic about it. If they brought me a bowl of Lucky Charms, that would have been more authentically Irish than this fucking garbage that they brought me. It was just terrible. And, you know, it just took me right out of it. And I was like, man, I just want to go the fuck home now. I don't even want to, you know, I want to go home and eat real food at some point. But see, I think I got pizza that night just because this shit was such a letdown. But again, it's not the server's fault, man. You know, you guys aren't paid enough. So shout out to the servers out there that do their job, do it well, and unfortunately take so much bullshit from people and their fucking piss poor attitudes. When it's not their fault, dude. They don't make the food. They just fucking bring it to you. And yeah, I get it. There are some servers out there that really dislike their job, and it shows sometimes. But, you know, if you had to put up with half the fucking bullshit that they have to put up with, then you would get it. Trust me. I used to own a bar. I know how fucking rude some people can be. I know how belligerent some people can get when, you know, they had a few drinks in them or in a bad mood, and they just have this sense of entitlement, like they can treat you like a piece of shit, right? So I totally get it, and, you know, you got to be understanding, and I'm not saying that's an excuse for shit service, and you're not expected to pay for it either, but, you know, there's a lot of servers out there that I think the majority that do their job well. And if the kitchen fucks something up, it's not the server's fault. So giving them attitude is not exactly, you know, getting anywhere because it's not their fault. They didn't make the mistake. So, you know, ease up on your servers, man. Because, you know, they take so much bullshit and get so little pay for it. And they don't deserve that, man. It's, so I told her it was all good. It was not her fault. And it wasn't. She was an absolute sweetheart. So, you know, I don't complain. It's just something where it's like, I just know not to go back. It's not for me. And, you know, they got some good reviews, so I guess some people liked it. But it's just, like, I found it nothing authentic about it. I didn't like it. The food quality was terrible. It just wasn't good. And, you know, so I wouldn't go back. If somebody really likes it, get on them. All the power to them. They can go back, but the only thing good about that meal was the beer. Honestly, that was the only thing that really was something I could finish. Like, and the sausages, I guess, were pretty decent for, you know, the most part, all things considered. But everything else was just awful. And it came with these vegetables, too, that were, like, so bland and boiled to death that it was just, like, flavorless. And it was just not a good meal at all. So now I know better. I'm not going to say their name. I don't want to fucking put them on blast or anything like that. It's just, you know, to me, An Irish pub should fucking be Irish, you know what I mean? And when the majority of your menu is nowhere near Irish at all, then what are you doing? Why do you have an Irish fucking name on your sign? And then you're trying to peddle me fucking Mexican and Italian foods. It doesn't mesh, man. And it's pretty sad when I say that, you know, the sausages were actually the best part, because even they kind of look like ground beef stuffed in a used condom, so it just wasn't good. It was fucking atrocious, to be honest with you, and like I felt like nauseous after eating the shit. It was that bad. I didn't like it at all. So, you know, I know, first world problems, right? Fucking rich people, you know, but it's just, I don't know, it's such a bummer when you love food so much, and you know what I mean? You need it for your muscle mass and everything else. So you go out to a place thinking you're going to have this awesome meal, and it just turns out later you don't like any of it at all. And I'm like the furthest thing from picky. You can ask anybody that knows me, man. I am the furthest thing from picky. I love just about anything, and this shit was just fucking terrible. I couldn't do it. I could not finish it, and I really, really dislike fucking wasting food, but this shit was just, if I tried to fucking choke it down, it was coming back up for sure. So it was a losing battle, and I think I made the right decision on that. Dude, I've been so distracted by like this whole thing doing the show that I've been kind of missing the gym lately, so I have to get my ass back in the gym and, you know, make up for a few days that I've been away. And you guys make it so worth it, though, man. Like, this, it's so cool, man, to see the response I get every day. You guys are just so awesome with all the feedback and everything. So I totally appreciate it. And it's not just those of you that know who I am from, you know, all my other shit. All you new listeners that don't even know me from my other things that I've done, from MMA, from my books, from my clothing line, shit like that. You know, all the new listeners and everybody, y'all make it worth doing, and you make it so much fun. And I just thought, man, it's got to be cool to, you know, like if you get a laugh out of it or whatever. And I know for me personally, sometimes I just like to throw on a podcast and just play video games and have that background noise. You know what I mean? It just kind of, it's a cool vibe to just feel like you're having a conversation with somebody. So, you know, if you're anything like me, then sometimes you just want to throw on a podcast as a background sound and, you know, just do your thing. And if you get a laugh out of it, then that's great, man. That's the idea. I don't want to make people think too much. There's going to be some serious shows where we talk about some serious shit, but for the most part, man, I figure, you know, I look at the analytics and I can tell what days are, you know, picking up the most, and it's like, you guys must be having a rough week. And, you know, I get that grind, right? So the middle of the week, you start to get burnt out on all the fucking daily bullshit. So, you know, I figure it gives you a little something to get your mind off all that nonsense and just kind of blow off some steam and fucking relax, you know what I mean? And get a laugh out of you. Take some stress off you, and if that's what this does, then I'm so fucking glad that I could help, and that's the idea. That's the purpose behind it. That's why it's free. That's why, you know, I do it, and I enjoy doing it so much. You know, you guys seem to be responding to it very well, and I love it, and it's so worth it. So I do it with you guys in mind, and I dig it that you guys have been so fucking amazing with the feedback and just subscribing and sharing it and liking it, comments and downloads and everything. And, you know, it's officially available on Spotify now and iTunes and pretty much everywhere, man. There's a couple places still pending, but they're not that big a deal. All the major formats I am on it, so I love it, and it's so worth doing. And, you know, I've been approached about this many times in the past. Oh, you should do this podcast, you should do this podcast. And, you know, eventually I was like, fuck it, man, maybe I will. You know, anyone that knows me knows I have so much shit going on. I have so much on my plate, but, you know, I do a lot of art. I do, you know, the fucking training, and I do a lot of personal training for people and coaching people on their fucking nutrition and shit like that. And it's just, you know, the clothing line, designing new shit, designing a website, doing the fucking podcast. It's been just hectic and shit, but I love it because I love keeping busy like this and just doing the things that I enjoy doing, taking every opportunity that I get, because a lot of people don't get opportunities to do the shit they love. You know what I mean? I'm very blessed. So I jump on every opportunity that interests me. I'm never going to sell out and do shit I don't want to do, because why the fuck would I do that when, you can't sell yourself out like that, because then you're going to become miserable, and not everything's about money. So, I just jump on the things that do interest me, that I think I could do, to the best of my ability, that I think I would enjoy doing. And I find when you enjoy what you're doing, you do it better than you would if you just don't care. So, I've got my art page on Facebook, Tattness McCleary Art. You can check that out if you haven't. If you're into comic book art and shit like that, there's a whole lot of that. There's a lot of portrait work. I love Copic markers, so any artists out there know how good Copic markers are, and I don't know what y'all pay where you are, but out here, it cost me about $8 a marker, but it is so fucking worth it. I probably got easily a couple grand worth of Copic markers, and it's never enough. I'm always buying more. I went into a store one day, and I dropped 300 and some odd bucks, $315 or some shit, on fucking Copic markers, just because, like, every color I see, I'm like, I want this, I want this, I want this. And if you use them, you know what I'm talking about, man. You know how easily done it is to want every fucking color you can find. But it's so worth it, dude, because the results you get are unlike anything I've ever used. And I used to be into the paint shit, like acrylic paint. I used to love that shit, and I still have an appreciation for it. But I can't seem to draw myself away from the Copic markers, so I'm so into that shit. And I'm going to start doing some more art in the near future as well. I have some commissions to do. I have some shit for my own personal wall to finish. It's just been hectic, and I've been in the gym quite a bit, and everybody knows I live in the gym pretty much. But, I mean, you spend so much time in the gym that you just can't get out of that mindset and get into the art mode, you know what I mean? So it's something that the mood has to be there, or else you're just not going to do well. And I usually could hammer out about 3 really big, elaborate pieces, and then that part of my brain just goes to shit and shuts down, burns out. And then I can't produce anything fucking worth looking at for a little while. It's like, you gotta take a break. Plus, I went camping, which, fucking took time away from the whole art thing, but I needed it anyway, because I had already been doing so fucking much that, I was burning out. So it was kind of like a fucking recharge your batteries. But then when I came back, it was all about the gym, because, you can't spend like fucking almost a week away from the gym and then, come home and not go. You have to bust your ass. And in this business, like, if you don't, it's going to show, and it's going to be fucking not good for you, because, this is your job, man. And when, I also train people for free. And, if people are going to come to you for advice, you better fucking look like they want to, you know what I mean? Because I don't understand personal trainers that look like they're so fucking unhealthy and so out of shape. How is someone supposed to come to you for advice on something you evidently can't do for yourself? You know what I mean? I just don't get that. So, I've always said I wouldn't ever take fucking swimming lessons from somebody who's never been in the water. You know what I mean? I would never take skydiving lessons from someone that's never left the ground. You want someone with experience, not someone that read a textbook. And when you see somebody who is way out of shape and they're fucking supposed to be your personal trainer, it just doesn't do wonders for one's fucking motivation. You know what I mean? It's just, I don't agree with it. I don't like it. I think that it's important to look the way you should if you're going to be a personal trainer, but that's just me. And that's why I feel like, for the most part, people are ripped off with the expensive fucking personal trainer tabs and shit that they end up paying for minimal fucking effort half the time. So I do it for free. I offer free nutrition advice. I do everything I can to help people out, man. It's fucking important to give back, and it's just a passion for me, man. If somebody wants to fucking better themselves, then if I can help, why not? You know what I mean? I'm happy to do it, and I think it's fucking great. So people have been responding. I've been getting people joining me from, parts of the U.S. and everything else, and just all over the world, man. And it's pretty crazy. And they come to me for advice or motivation, and I love it. I'm happy to help out, and it's really cool. I initially started doing it just for friends of mine and people that they know that really need the help and need that guidance and that step in the right direction. And it ended up blowing up where all of a sudden every day there's like people randomly from all different parts of the world kind of joining and asking for advice. And it's like, okay, cool. I'll help whoever, man. So, I dig it, and I love helping people out. So I will be back in the gym, but I believe tomorrow I will be recording a new show to put on the shelf, and I'll release it in the near future. I think Blue will be back on the show, and we'll catch up with her and see how she's been. And I have a few guests coming in the near future. So I've got a few lined up, and it's pretty interesting stuff, man. And it's going to be a pretty eclectic bunch of people. There's a couple people that want to talk about horror shit for Halloween. Some people that want to talk about paranormal things. And there's even some people that are in the music industry that are looking to kind of get their name out there a little further than they already have. They've been around for a while now and been doing quite well, but they want to kind of get their name out there a little further, and that's fine. So I figured, why not, So we'll actually have some interesting guests on here to talk about all different subjects. It's going to be a blast, and you know how it goes. We're going to talk about a lot of nonsensical bullshit for your fucking amusement, and a lot of idiotic conversations, but if it makes you laugh, man, it's so worth doing. It's just for fucking fun. You can't take life so seriously, and we're not uptight on this show. So our guests are going to be, entertaining as shit, and we're going to have a blast, I'm telling you. And the shows are only going to get better, and, I think we're starting to kind of get into our fucking flow of things and really figure this shit out technology-wise. So I think in the future they're just going to get better and better, and you guys be the judge of that. You're the ones that are listening to it, and I'm enjoying the process, and I hope you guys are digging it. My numbers don't lie, so I guess you are. And, I'm just going to keep trying to put out better work for you each and every time. Get more interesting guests every time. Get more guests as much as possible. I'm starting to get a response from people now that they know of the show. They know it exists. They know I'm doing it now. And it's just a matter of people's schedules. Like, people are fucking really busy, and I get that. They don't all have the free time that, fucking I do. But, it's not like I have all that free time. It's like I got shit to do, but this is kind of one of the priorities, right? So, they don't have that. Their priority is a 9 to 5, right? So, they fucking do what they can. They have their responsibilities outside of their job. Real life shit, daily life, it happens. You know what I mean? But I really dig that they're fucking and appreciate that they're making time for me to be on the show and, to come on the show. And in the future, I might be on some other people's podcasts as well as a guest. So we might do a few trade-offs here and there on any shows that I really dig that I want to promote. I'll bring them on the show. And if they want me on theirs, then I will gladly, if I'm a fan, I will jump over, do a little crossover and see what's up on their side. And I think it's going to be good times. I think there's going to be a lot of content for you guys, but I don't want to oversaturate the market. I don't want to put out so much shit that you guys just fucking don't have time for it. You know what I mean? So we're going to try to keep it on a regular basis where you don't wait too long, but we don't want to bombard you neither, where you have to get caught up and start, unless you are interested in binging on some shows like I tend to do. But sometimes, man, they just get away from you so much, or if somebody posts way too much content, you just find it overwhelming and it's hard to catch up. And then it's just like you start missing shows, and then it's kind of pointless, right? It's pointless for me to do the shows if people are going to be missing them. It's kind of pointless for me to put shit out there if you're not going to get the chance to hear it, and burying you with all these shows that you just don't have time for. So we're going to keep this simple and just try to keep it to a few days a week if, possible. But right now there's such a demand for it. Like, we're so early in that, we figure why not stock up on a few shows if we got something worth doing and let you guys have a few to kind of, at your leisure, get through, right? So I think we're going to wrap this up now and try to keep it a little shorter tonight just because it's going to be a big day tomorrow and Blue shall be back, I do believe, and check in with us and we'll see how she's doing. And I think it's going to be fun. So you guys can, fucking check us out when you have the time and be sure to check out the YouTube channel and the Facebook page. And all the other places, man. If SoundCloud's easiest for you, by all means. Otherwise, if you're a YouTube fucking user, we're available there. If you're an iTunes user, available there. Spotify, whatever you prefer. I know some people find it's much easier for them on Spotify because they have, different devices and things like that, where it just makes it a lot more convenient for them. So whatever your preference, we're there. Google Play, Stitcher, all sorts of craziness, man. So basically, wherever you could possibly find your podcasts, we're probably there. All the main ones, and even a couple of the more obscure ones, just for the fuck of it, because somebody's using it. So why not, right? So we're gonna wrap this up, and really appreciate, like I said, everything, man. You guys have been awesome. Feel free to email the show if you have any kind of topics you'd like to hear about, if you want to be a guest on the show, even if you have something to promote, something you want to talk about, something you want to get out there, something kind of, whether it be a charity or a project you're working on, a business you're starting, whatever it may be, man. If you got something to promote, I'm more than happy to give back, bring you on the show. You could call in, you could do whatever's convenient for you, we could do a Skype call, we could do whatever, and you can get your project out there and let it be known to the public. So, until tomorrow, man, again, keep in touch with us, man, and let us know what you want on the show and who you want on the show. If there's somebody you would like to have us on, talking to, then let us know. Give us suggestions, man. Your input's always fucking valued. Thanks again for listening to this, and we'll catch you tomorrow, man. Have a good one.